In the heart of Africa, nestled between the rolling hills and vast savannas, lay the village of Kumba. Kumba was a place where traditions were sacred and stories were passed down through generations. At the center of the village stood a majestic baobab tree, its branches stretching towards the sky as if yearning to touch the heavens. The villagers revered this ancient tree, believing it to be the guardian of their secrets and the keeper of their history. One hot afternoon, a stranger arrived in Kumba. He was a tall man with a mischievous glint in his eyes and a walking stick adorned with carvings of spiders. His name was Anansi, a traveler and storyteller known across many lands. The villagers welcomed him with open arms, eager to hear his tales. Anansi, intrigued by the whispers he had heard about the baobab tree, decided to stay in Kumba for a while. He often found himself drawn to the tree, listening intently to its whispers, hoping to uncover its secrets. Anansi soon realized that the whispers from the baobab were not just the rustling of leaves. They carried messages, stories, and warnings. One night, as the moon cast its silvery light upon the village, Anansi heard a clear whisper, "Beware the shadows that come with the new moon." The words sent a shiver down his spine. He knew he had to understand what the baobab was trying to convey, for the safety of Kumba depended on it. Anansi gathered the villagers around the baobab tree and began to share the story he had heard. He spoke of shadow spirits that roamed the land, seeking to consume the light and bring darkness. These spirits, he said, were drawn to places of great power and knowledge, such as the whispering baobab tree. The villagers listened in hushed silence, their faces illuminated by the flickering firelight, understanding the gravity of the warning. The village elder, Mama Nandi, stepped forward. She was a wise woman with eyes that had seen many seasons. "The baobab has spoken, and we must heed its warning," she said. "We must prepare ourselves for the new moon, for it brings with it great danger." She instructed the villagers to gather protective herbs and create charms to ward off the shadow spirits. Anansi, curious about Mama Nandi's knowledge, decided to learn more from her. Mama Nandi took Anansi to her hut and shared the legend of the baobab tree. It was said that the tree was planted by the first ancestors of Kumba, who were gifted with the knowledge of the earth and the stars. The baobab grew strong and wise, absorbing the wisdom of the ancestors and the power of the land. It became a bridge between the mortal world and the spirit world, capable of whispering truths to those who listened with open hearts. Mama Nandi revealed that the baobab was guarded by a spirit named Nzinga. Nzinga was a fierce protector, appearing as a woman with the strength of a lion and the grace of an antelope. She could commune with the ancestors and was the one who conveyed their messages through the tree. Anansi was intrigued and wanted to meet Nzinga, hoping she could shed light on the coming danger. One night, as the new moon approached, Anansi sat beneath the baobab tree, waiting for Nzinga to appear. The air grew thick with anticipation, and the whispers from the tree became louder. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Nzinga, her eyes glowing with an ethereal light. "Why have you come, Anansi?" she asked in a voice that was both gentle and commanding. Anansi explained his desire to protect Kumba and understand the baobab's warnings. Nzinga nodded, recognizing the sincerity in his words. Nzinga informed Anansi that to gain the knowledge he sought, he would have to undergo the trial of courage. This trial would test his bravery, wisdom, and heart. If he succeeded, he would be granted the power to understand the whispers of the baobab. Anansi agreed without hesitation, knowing that the fate of Kumba rested on his shoulders. Nzinga led him to a hidden grove where the trial would take place. In the grove, Anansi faced his first challenge. The sound of phantom drums filled the air, growing louder and more intense. With each passing moment, the drums were said to summon the spirits of warriors who had fallen in battle. Anansi had to remain calm and find the rhythm that would lead him to the source of the sound. He closed his eyes, letting the beat guide him until he found a hidden drum, which he struck 3 times, silencing the phantom drums. Next, Anansi was led to a narrow path shrouded in darkness. Nzinga warned him that the shadows held the spirits of those who had lost their way. Anansi had to navigate the path without succumbing to fear, for the shadows fed on fear and doubt. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, his heart steady and his mind clear. He could feel the shadows reaching for him, but he walked with purpose, knowing that only by facing his fears could he overcome them. At the end of the path, Anansi found himself before the heart of the Baobab tree, a glowing core that pulsed with life and energy. Nzinga appeared beside him, her expression solemn. "This is the final test," she said. "You must listen to the heart of the Baobab and understand its truth." Anansi placed his hands on the core. Kratatiri, feeling its warmth and hearing its whispers. The truth it revealed was profound and powerful, a story of creation, balance, and the eternal struggle between light and darkness. With the knowledge gained from the heart of the Baobab, Anansi returned to Kumba. He gathered the villagers and shared the revelation. The shadow spirits sought to upset the balance of the world by extinguishing the light of the Baobab. However, with unity and courage, they could protect the tree and their village. The villagers, inspired by Anansi's bravery and wisdom, vowed to stand together and face the coming threat. Under Mama Nandi's guidance, the villagers prepared for the new moon. They crafted powerful charms and mixed protective potions using sacred herbs. Warriors sharpened their spears and practiced their battle skills. The children were taught songs of strength and courage to sing during the darkest hours. Anansi, now able to understand the whispers of the Baobab, acted as the village's guide, interpreting the messages from the ancestors. The night of the new moon arrived, shrouding Kumba in darkness. The village was silent, each person holding their breath in anticipation. Anansi stood by the Baobab tree, his heart pounding. Suddenly, the ground trembled, and a cold wind swept through the village. From the shadows emerged the spirits, their forms shifting and flickering like flames. The villagers held their ground, their protective charms glowing with a faint light. The shadow spirits descended upon Kumba, their presence filling the air with a chilling dread. The villagers, led by Anansi and the warriors, fought valiantly. Their charms and potions created a protective barrier, but the spirits were relentless. Anansi, using the wisdom he had gained, called upon Nzinga for assistance. She appeared, her form radiant and powerful, and joined the battle, her presence invigorating the villagers. As the battle raged on, the children began to sing the songs they had been taught. Their voices, pure and strong, carried through the night, weaving a tapestry of hope and courage. The song created a beam of light that pierced the darkness, weakening the shadow spirits. Inspired by the children, the villagers sang along, their collective voice becoming a powerful weapon against the shadows. Anansi and Nzinga faced the leader of the shadow spirits, a towering figure of darkness with eyes that burned like embers. The spirit, sensing Anansi's newfound power, tried to break his resolve by whispering doubts and fears into his mind. But Anansi, bolstered by the villagers' song and Nzinga's presence, stood firm. He raised his walking stick, its carvings glowing with a brilliant light, and struck the ground. The earth shook, and the light enveloped the leader, dissolving its form into nothingness. As the first light of dawn broke the horizon, the remaining shadow spirits retreated, vanishing into the fading darkness. The villagers, exhausted but victorious, gathered around the Baobab tree, offering thanks to the ancestors and to Anansi for his bravery and wisdom. The whispering Baobab tree stood tall and proud, its leaves rustling with a gentle, soothing whisper, a sign of peace and gratitude. With the threat of the shadow spirits gone, Anansi continued to listen to the whispers of the Baobab. The tree revealed many secrets, teaching him about the land, the stars, and the interconnectedness of all things. Anansi shared this knowledge with the villagers, helping them to live in harmony with nature and each other. The village of Kumba thrived, becoming a beacon of wisdom and strength in the land. One day, a hunter named Jengo returned to Kumba after a long journey. He brought with him tales of strange occurrences in distant lands. Villages were being abandoned and crops were failing. The whispers of the Baobab spoke of a great imbalance in the world, and Anansi realized that the shadow spirits were not the only threat. He decided to investigate, taking Django and a few brave villagers with him. Anansi, Django, and their companions set out on a journey across the vast African landscape. They traveled through dense forests, across wide rivers, and over towering mountains. Along the way, they encountered other villages, each with its own challenges and stories. Anansi listened to the whispers of the Baobab, which guided them on their path and provided clues to the source of the imbalance. Their journey led them to a village that seemed abandoned. The huts were empty, and the fields were barren. Anansi felt a deep sorrow in the air, and the whispers of the Baobab spoke of a curse that had befallen the village. The villagers had angered a powerful spirit by cutting down a sacred tree, and the spirit had taken their light and life in retribution. Anansi knew they had to find a way to appease the spirit and restore the village. Anansi and his companions ventured into the nearby forest, seeking the spirit. They followed the whispers of the Baobab and the signs of nature until they reached a clearing where the sacred tree once stood. There, they encountered the spirit, a majestic figure with eyes that glowed like the sun. The spirit was furious, its rage palpable in the air. Anansi, showing respect and humility, apologized on behalf of the villagers and offered to plant a new sacred tree. The spirit agreed to lift the curse, but only if Anansi and his companions could prove their worthiness. They were tasked with retrieving a rare and sacred seed from the depths of the forest. The journey was perilous, filled with dangerous creatures and treacherous paths.